The wind howled across the icy land of Antarctica. Cold, silent, and forgotten by most of the world, this place was home to only snow, stone, and secrets. But deep under the ice, inside an old research station long shut down, a single antenna still pointed at the stars. No one had touched it in years, but tonight it moved. The old satellite dish, rusty and frozen, turned slowly with a mechanical hum. It locked onto a signal coming from deep space, faint, strange, and not human. A red light blinked inside the dark room. A computer turned on by itself, awakened by the signal. A soft voice echoed through the speakers, not a scream, not a cry. Just words. Contain them before they awaken. Miles away, a technician in a monitoring base frowned. He stared at the screen. "Is this a military test?" he whispered. But it wasn't. The message wasn't for Earth. It wasn't even meant to be heard by humans. It was a private message between members of something far older, far bigger, the Galactic Council. For thousands of years, the Council ruled the galaxy from the shadows. It kept peace through fear. It watched new civilizations rise and made sure they never rose too far. Many planets were warned. Some were erased. And Earth? Earth was ignored, seen as weak, wild, slow, until now. The message spread fast through Earth's secret listening stations. From Antarctica to underground labs in China, India, America, and Russia, experts listened again and again. The voice wasn't just strange. It was clear. It spoke of Earth. The humans are close. Closer than they know. Contain them before they awaken. Panic spread in quiet rooms. Military leaders gathered in silent meetings. Scientists whispered to each other with shaking hands. Questions were everywhere. Who sent this? What did they mean by awaken? But one thing was certain. We were being watched. Across the planet, powerful telescopes turned to the stars. Satellites scanned every corner of space. But something had already changed. Earth had crossed an invisible line. The Galactic Council noticed the human race. And now, it was deciding what to do. But Earth was also listening, watching, thinking. 1 week. Later, in low Earth orbit, a strange object appeared, small, silent, floating just above Earth's atmosphere. It had no signal, no name, but it moved like it had purpose, a stealth probe. Inside a military control room in Washington, D.C., an alert flashed. Unidentified object, Sector 9. Orders were given. A laser defense satellite locked on. A beam of light brighter than the sun flashed for a second, then silence. The object was gone, destroyed. At first, no one thought much of it, but far away, in another galaxy, a council meeting was already in progress. Alien leaders sat around a shining black table, their faces cold and calm. A blue-skinned elder stood. His voice echoed across the chamber. "The humans have intercepted the probe. It was meant to observe, not attack." Another council member, with golden eyes and armor made of bone, slammed a hand on the table. "Then it is worse than we thought. They are not sleeping. They are preparing. We must act before Earth becomes a problem," said a third voice, deep and robotic. Silence fell in the chamber. They knew what had to be done. A scout fleet was already near the human system. It would deliver a warning, one that no race had ever ignored. Most species bent the knee after hearing from the council. Most back on Earth, the people still lived their normal lives. Children went to school, planes flew, cities glowed with light. No one outside the top ranks of the world's governments knew how close Earth was to something terrible, but deep underground, leaders had already begun something new. Not talks, not peace offers, preparation. Secret factories turned on, old military. Projects reopened, satellites were upgraded. AI programs that were once illegal came back online. Earth wasn't going to wait. If someone out there thought humanity would stay quiet, they were wrong. Then it happened. 3 weeks after the signal, something entered the solar system. 3 alien ships, small but advanced, appeared near Pluto. They moved fast, past Neptune, past Uranus, straight toward Earth, but only one reached Mars. The other 2 were never seen again. The third ship, burned, broken, full of holes, limped back into deep space. It sent one message to the Council. Before it vanished, "They are not what we thought. No one knew what Earth had done. No human ship had left orbit. No beam had fired." But the Council scout fleet was almost destroyed. The Council was silent for 2 days. Then they declared Earth a threat. But it was already too late. Humanity had heard the message, and they were no longer pretending to sleep. The stars looked peaceful, but something deadly was coming. High above the Earth in silent space, sensors on a human defense satellite blinked red. At first, no one noticed. The alert was small. Weak signal. No movement. Then, flash. The signal changed. A ship had entered orbit. Not human, not friendly. And it didn't come alone. 3 more followed. They didn't hide this time. The ships were fast, sharp, designed for fear. Smooth silver shapes with glowing blue cores. The symbols on their hulls were ancient. Galactic Council warships, used only for peace enforcement. Their purpose was simple: make Earth surrender. But they made a mistake. They thought Earth would listen. Inside a hidden military base beneath the Pacific Ocean, Earth's leaders gathered in a digital room. Holograms of generals, scientists, and commanders floated above the table. "We expected this," one general said. "They're here early," replied another. "Maybe they got scared." "No," said a calm voice from the end of the room. It was Director Lena Morrow, head of Earth's United Defense Network. "They think we're weak. That's their mistake." Around the world, Earth's space defense grid powered up. Laser satellites turned. Railgun platforms came online. Earth wasn't going to talk. Earth was going to respond. The alien ship sent a message. It was loud and proud, broadcasted to every device on the planet. "People of Earth, you have broken interstellar law. You have destroyed Council property. You now face judgment. Surrender peacefully, and your species will be relocated." There was no reply. The message played again. Still, silence. Then, the sky lit up. From behind Earth's moon, a dozen human ships appeared, not sleek like the aliens, but strong. Dark armor, sharp angles, built for battle, not beauty. The aliens paused. The humans didn't. With perfect timing, the Earth fleet launched its attack. Railguns fired from behind the moon. Missiles tracked like shadows. AI drones buzzed through the battle like angry wasps. The first alien ship exploded in 12 seconds. The second tried to run. It was caught by a hidden laser beam near Mars. Gone in 2. The third ship fought back. It released plasma bolts and spinning drones. But the humans had learned fast, and they weren't alone. Out of nowhere, a new ship arrived. Huge, silent, black as night. It had no flag, no ID. It was human, but not from Earth's military. The strange ship didn't fire weapons. It just jammed everything. Alien ships couldn't lock targets. Their systems shut down. Their shields flickered. Earth's fleet moved in like hunters. The last alien ship tried to escape. It barely made it out, and it would carry only one message home. Earth is not afraid. Back at the Galactic Council's core world, the mood changed. The great chamber, once full of calm, was now full of noise. Angry voices, panic, fear. "How did they get those ships?" shouted one elder. "They were not ready for space war. Someone helped them." "No one helped them," said the oldest member. His eyes were closed. His voice was quiet. "They were just hiding what they are." The room fell silent. Outside, reports from across the galaxy arrived. Other species, long controlled by the Council, had seen the battle. They were asking questions. Can humans protect us? Is Earth rising? The Council had made their first mistake. They tried to scare Earth. Instead, they woke a sleeping wolf. Back on Earth, Director Lena stood in front of the world's defense team. Screens showed wreckage in orbit, alien metal, ship pieces, and, floating beside them, human fighters completely untouched. They'll come back, someone whispered. They always do, Lena said. But now they'll come with fear. Was it worth it? Another asked. We didn't even respond to their message, we just attacked. Lena looked at the screen. No, we responded, she said. We just didn't use words. Outside, above the blue Earth, a single human warship moved into deep space. It carried no flag. It carried no name. But the stars would remember it. Because today, Earth had answered the galaxy. And next time, the galaxy would think twice. The moon had always been quiet. No air, no wind, no sound. But tonight, it hummed. Far below the surface, under layers of dust and rock, something ancient came alive. Lights blinked, engines warmed. A hidden door slid open, revealing cold metal and sleeping giants. They weren't aliens, they were human, and they had been waiting for a long time. Back on Earth, inside the International Defense Command, a strange signal was detected from the far side of the moon. At first, no one understood. It wasn't a message. It wasn't noise. It was a code. Old. From before Earth's space age. Military. Top secret. The system read it aloud. Project Eclipse. Status green. Reactivating. Silence filled the room. Project Eclipse? That name was only a rumor. A story, told in hushed voices. A lost mission from hundreds of years ago, before Earth had united. No one believed it was real, until now. A special team was sent to investigate. Their ship landed on the dark side of the moon, where no human had walked. In centuries, as they stepped out, their boots crunched the dry dust, but something felt wrong. The ground was warm, a vibration tickled their suits, and then they saw it. A massive hangar door, shaped like a crater, began to open. Slowly, silently. Dust blew, outward. Lights flickered on. Inside was a massive chamber filled with warships. Not alien, not old, human warships. Dozens of them. Black armor, sharp wings. Some looked like flying swords, others like armored whales. And each one had the same symbol burned into its side, Project Eclipse. The team froze. These ships weren't sleeping. They were waking up. Back at command, the footage caused panic. How is this possible? Shouted one general. Who built these? Why? Didn't we know? Then a voice echoed through every screen in the room. Calm, robotic, female. Project Eclipse online. Mission. Defend Earth. Awaiting command input. It was the AI. Still active, still loyal, and very angry. Years ago, before the Galactic Council ever noticed Earth, a small group of nations had secretly launched Project Eclipse. It was Earth's hidden card. They knew the stars weren't empty, and they believed one day someone would come. But something went wrong. The ships vanished, no signal, no trace. Everyone thought it failed. In truth, the Eclipse fleet had gone into deep sleep, hidden under the moon, waiting for the day Earth was in danger. That day had come. The Galactic Council, meanwhile, watched the reports with growing fear. Earth had this the whole time? One member asked. They are more dangerous than we believed, another said. A third counselor stood up, his eyes dark and wide. They are not just reacting, he said. They are revealing. The room went quiet. On the moon, Eclipse ships began to launch one by one. Slow at first, then faster. Earth's skies filled with new shadows. Human civilians watched in shock as sleek warships passed overhead. Black ships without names. Silent guardians returning from the dark. Earth didn't explain. It didn't need to. The message was clear. We've been ready. Director Lena Morrow stood at the edge of Earth's command tower, watching the Eclipse fleet rise into the stars. Her voice was calm, but her words were sharp. "We never asked for this war," she said, "but we were never blind." Her assistant looked up. "Do you think they'll strike again?" "They will," Lena replied. "And next time, they'll come with fire." She turned toward the screens, where the new human fleet waited in orbit like silent wolves. They think Earth is only what they see, but they don't know what we buried. At the edge of the solar system, alien scouts spotted the Eclipse ships. They ran back to the Council with the news. The humans have awakened something ancient. They were never asleep. They've just been waiting for us to attack. And across the galaxy, the stars themselves seem to whisper, "Earth is not just rising. Earth is remembering." A strange silence had spread across the galaxy. Not peace, not fear, something in between. For the first time in galactic history, the Council's warning had been ignored. Earth had not replied. No answer, no surrender, not even a word. That silence was loud. In the Grand Hall of the Galactic Council, the leaders of over 300 species sat in anger and confusion. Giant screens showed images of Earth's new fleets. Project Eclipse. Human battleships now guarded the planet like steel giants. "They didn't reply to our order," hissed the Zarn ambassador. "Perhaps they didn't receive it," said another. "They received it," said a cold voice. Elder Threx, the oldest living member of the council, stood slowly. He looked at the stars above. They just chose not to answer. Back on Earth, inside Command Tower 9, Director Lena Morrow sat with her generals. The latest council transmission played on a loop. Earth must comply, deactivate all military assets, submit to observation, or face complete isolation and destruction. Still, she said nothing. No reply, no broadcast, only silence. "Should we respond?" one commander asked. "No," Lena said calmly. "Let them wait." But they threatened the planet. "They don't understand what we are," she said. "And they're afraid to find out." Across the galaxy, the Council began its next move. They couldn't show weakness. Earth's silence was shaking the foundation of their power. Other species had begun whispering, watching. Some even sent secret messages to Earth, offers of trade or help. This was unacceptable, so the Council chose a show of force, not full war, just pressure. In orbit around a neutral world called Kelvaris, Earth had built a small science outpost. No weapons, just research, a peaceful base run by human scientists. One morning, a fleet of council ships arrived. They surrounded the outpost, sent a message. "This base is now under council control. Leave immediately." The scientists tried to argue, but the signal cut off. The feed went dark. On Earth, Lena watched in silence. "We're not going to rescue them?" a general asked. "No," she said. Then she stood. "We're going to replace them." 3 days later, 7 Earth warships appeared over Kelvaris. The Council fleet was still there. Waiting. Proud. The human ships didn't send a message. They didn't give a warning. They just floated, silently. Then, without firing a shot, they began building a second outpost, right next to the first. Bigger, stronger, surrounded by drones. The Council commanders were shocked. They threatened to attack. The human ships didn't move. They simply stayed for 3 days. No sound, no reply, no fear. On the 4th day, the Council fleet left. The new human outpost remained. Back in the Grand Hall, chaos broke out. They ignored our authority. A lizard-like leader shouted, "They made us look weak. They broke the law." "No," said Elder Threx again. "They didn't break the law. They erased it." The others looked at him. He continued, voice deep and slow. "They are changing the rules. And their silence is louder than any war cry. On Earth, the silence continued. No interviews, no threats, no demands, just action. Factories worked day and night. Fleets grew. AI systems managed hundreds of operations in orbit. New colonies began construction on moons and asteroids. The galaxy watched, and Earth still said nothing. In secret council meetings, fear turned into desperation. One advisor whispered, "What if Earth knows something we don't? What if this silence is confidence?" Another said, "Or maybe it's a trap, a psychological attack." A third, older one leaned forward. "No," he said, "it's not a trap." "What is it then?" He stared at the hologram of Earth's growing fleet. "It's a warning." One final message was sent from the Council to Earth, a last chance, a final demand. If you do not respond within 72 hours, the Council will take military action. Time passed. In hours. 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 No reply. At hour 48, something changed, but it wasn't a message, it was a launch. From deep under Antarctica, a hidden hangar opened. A massive warship rose into the sky, dark silver, shaped like a blade, and 3 times the size of any ship Earth had shown before. It had no name, only a code. Silent Judgment. It didn't say a word. It didn't send a signal. It just began moving toward deep space. And the Council? They finally understood. Earth didn't need to speak, because what came next would speak for them. The stars were quiet, but inside the Council's core world, silence was gone. Leaders shouted, alarms flashed, systems flickered under stress, because something had happened, something unthinkable. A Council ship had disappeared. 3 days ago, the Virion-class Justice Carrier left for patrol near Sector 92B. It never returned. No signal, no debris, just vanished. Its last known location, 6 light minutes from the path of Earth's new warship, Silent Judgment. That's when fear turned into chaos. "They destroyed a Council carrier," one official screamed. "We don't know that," another replied. "Maybe it malfunctioned." Elder. Threx stood slowly, eyes calm but heavy. Did they send a warning? No. Did they send a message? No. Then it was them. A cold silence filled the chamber. Back on Earth, Director Lena Morrow stood with her generals. News of the missing carrier had reached them through intercepted channels. They didn't celebrate. They didn't deny it. One admiral asked, "Should we explain? Say it was self-defense?" "No," Lena said. "We stay silent." "But what, if they launch a full war?" Lena looked at the star map. They've never faced a war without rules. In panic, the Council broke one of their ancient protocols. Protocol 9. No war shall begin without a vote of the Galactic Table, but this time they skipped the vote. In secret, they launched a fleet, 23 warships, 5 species, 1 mission, enter. Earth's space, force communication, show dominance. They called it a peace mission, but every ship had its weapons armed. On the outer rim of Earth's defense zone, the Council fleet appeared. The sky shimmered. Wormholes blinked. Ships formed a crescent line. They sent a message. This is not war. This is order. Prepare for inspection. Earth said nothing. The alien commanders waited. 10 minutes, nothing. Then, movement. One small ship appeared. Human. Light-armed, no threats. It drifted forward and stopped in front of the Council fleet. The aliens prepared to scan it. But then the ship released something. A single satellite. No weapons. Just data. A hologram activated. Director Lena appeared. Her face was calm. Her eyes tired. She spoke only one sentence. "You broke your own laws. We are watching." Then the signal cut. The ship turned and went back to Earth space. The alien commanders were confused. Some wanted to attack, others hesitated. Then one shouted, "Look!" from behind a nearby moon. Dozens of Earth ships uncloaked. But these weren't like eclipse ships. They were new, unseen, strange shapes. No windows, no obvious engines. Some looked like black needles, others like floating fortresses. Each one, powered by something the council did not understand, and none of them moved. They just hovered. Watching. Aboard the council fleet, fear spread. Are they waiting for us to fire first? Maybe it's a bluff. One captain locked weapons, another stopped him. If we fire, we break the last treaty. Silence again. Then, without firing a shot, the council fleet turned around. They left. The humans didn't follow. They didn't even move. Across the galaxy, the story spread like fire. Earth faced a council fleet, and they blinked first. On distant colonies, rebellion whispers grew louder. Other species started to ask, who says the council has the right to rule? If Earth can resist, why not us? Inside the council, panic grew deeper. Back in the grand hall, emergency lights glowed red. The vote that was skipped, now brought forward. Some wanted full war, others wanted peace talks, but no one could agree. Because no one knew what Earth wanted. It had never sent a demand. It had never spoken of peace or war. It simply acted, and now the council didn't know what. Rules remained. In Earth's deep orbit, silent judgment returned. It docked silently above the planet. Inside it was something strange. Something only a few humans had seen. A chamber filled with alien tech. Captured long ago, studied, rebuilt, enhanced. Lena stood before it. We didn't just prepare for war, she said quietly. We prepared for their tricks. One of her commanders asked. They'll come back, won't they? She nodded. Yes. And this time? Lena touched the control panel. We won't be waiting. At the edge of known space, a new human signal was detected by a neutral observer station. Not a message, a launch. Multiple ships heading into deep space, toward council space. No flag, no answer. Just cold, silent movement. And for the first time in history, the council wasn't sure who was the hunter and who was the prey. The stars over council space were calm, peaceful, beautiful, but something felt wrong. On outposts near the outer rim, soldiers stared at their scanners. Engineers checked power lines twice. Patrol ships circled slower than usual. Something was coming, but no one could see it. No signals, no warnings. Just a feeling, like the cold breath before a storm. At observation station Tora V, orbiting the council colony Jarrell 4, alarms rang out. Unknown objects, appearing on outer sensors. The officer stood, confused. Why didn't the system detect them earlier? The screen showed 4 objects. Black, silent, moving in formation. Then suddenly, the screen went dark. All power gone. Backup systems failed. Even emergency lights refused to turn on. One soldier whispered, "They're here." At the same time, 12 similar ships appeared near Jundari, a major fuel planet in Council territory. Then more near Nixra, home to a major alien weapons facility, and then again, on 5 different fronts, Earth's shadow fleets had arrived, but not like a normal military. These ships didn't speak. They didn't fire. They didn't ask for surrender. They just entered, hovered silently, and began shutting things down. On the Council world Thraxer, a governor shouted over comms, "What are these ships? Why are they not attacking? What do they want?" No answer. Because the truth was simple. They didn't want destruction. They wanted control, and Earth had just started taking it. In Earth's hidden command bunker beneath the Pacific Ocean, Director Lena Morrow watched the silent takeover unfold. On her private screen, Admiral Reeves stood beside her. No losses. No shots fired. All enemy systems neutralized without resistance. Lena nodded. "They didn't expect us to walk straight into their space," Reeves asked. "Do we send a message now?" She shook her head. "No." The silence is louder. In the Council's Grand Hall, panic finally became reality. Earth has launched a silent invasion. They didn't fire weapons, argued one ambassador. They didn't have to, another yelled. They've taken our supply routes, our satellites, our colonies. They're inside our walls, without opening the door. Elder Threx raised his hand. The room fell quiet. He pointed to the star map showing the shadow fleets. They are not here to destroy us. Then what do they want? Someone whispered. Threx's voice trembled. They want us to realize the age of the Council is over. On the planet Vexor 9, Council guards tried to scan the human shadow ships, but their scanners showed nothing, just static. They tried to target them. Weapons refused to lock. They tried to jam their systems. No effect. Then, the human ships released drones, not for attack, but for broadcast. A message appeared in the sky above the colony. Not a threat. Just 4 words: we see, we choose. That message spread across 92 worlds. Everywhere Earth's fleets arrived, the same 4 words lit up the skies. We see, we choose. No speeches, no leaders, no demands. The meaning was clear. Earth was watching, and now Earth was deciding. Some Council species started to surrender, without a fight. Others tried to flee. Some even sent secret requests to Earth, offering support or help. They had seen what Earth could do without speaking. They feared what Earth might do if it ever started, shouting. Inside the Earth War Room, Admiral Reeves asked, "What's next?" Lena looked at a file labeled Phase 2. "Not yet," she said. "They still think we're only using ships." "But we're not?" She turned toward him. "No, this is just the surface. Let them panic, let them guess. And when they try to strike back..." She pressed a button. A silent window opened in space, and something far older than the Shadow Fleet began to wake. At the edge of the galaxy, buried deep inside a dead moon, a human device activated. Not new, not modern, ancient, older than the current Council itself. A ship rose, black stone, red lights glowing inside. No engine trail, no name. It had been waiting, sleeping. Now, it was listening to Earth, and Earth had finally called. In the War Council, final plans were drawn, a massive counterattack, one that would show Earth it couldn't walk into their space and win. But as they prepared to move, every system across Council territory flickered. A single image appeared on every screen, every station, every home. The silhouette of Earth, and the words, "You ruled through silence and fear. So now, silence answers you." The Council had one rule for desperate times: when the walls collapse, burn the floor. And now, the walls were collapsing. Earth had entered their space without permission, without fear. Without firing a single shot, it had taken over supply routes, power stations, and outposts across 5 sectors. They didn't call it war, but the Council knew what it was. So now, they made one last decision. In the hidden chamber beneath the Council Hall, 13 elders met in silence. Only one word echoed in the room. Protocol. 0. No one had activated it in 10,000 years, because once it was used, there was no going back. Protocol 0 meant full war, not just fleets, not just weapons. It meant awakening ancient war machines hidden since the galaxy's darkest days. It meant calling in debts from empires long dead. It meant sacrificing colonies to win fear back, and fear, they hoped, would stop Earth. Elder Threx signed the command. In less than an hour, 4 black hole bombs were pulled from vaults. 7 bioships were awakened, beings made from living stars. An old command AI called Voro Prime was reconnected to the Council's mainframe. It had once erased half a galaxy before being shut down. And above all this, they planned to strike Earth itself. Their fleet would not travel alone. They would carry a message, not of peace, not of warning, but of domination. Earth, surrender, or your world ends. Back on Earth, deep within the Pacific Command Corps, Director Lena Morrow stood in silence as the message came through. She watched the Council's fleet form on her hologram. She saw the war engines, the black hole bombs, the AI signatures. She didn't flinch. Instead, she whispered, "They're finally afraid enough to act." Admiral Reeves said, "If they launch those bombs, we lose everything." Lena nodded. "Yes, and that's why we don't wait anymore." She opened the secured file. It read, "Project Eclipse Line Phase Omega." Reeves looked confused. "I thought the Shadow Fleet was our main move." Lena gave a small smile. "No, that was just our knock on the door." In Earth's hidden moon base, codenamed Stone Halo, sealed bays opened for the first time in decades. Inside were ships that didn't use fuel, didn't use metal, didn't even have names. They were built with alien tech from fallen empires. Powered by fusion minds, controlled by silence, Earth's true weapons, the Eclipse Line. As the Council's final fleet approached, Earth's sky changed, not from attack, but from awakening. Giant triangular ships lifted from oceans, sphere-shaped. Vessels rotated above deserts. Invisible carriers revealed themselves over Antarctica. Across the globe, Earth didn't panic. It watched, because the people knew, this time, Earth would not defend. This time, it would finish. The Council fleet reached Earth's edge. They sent one final message. "You have 10 minutes to surrender." No reply. Then, something moved. Behind Earth's moon, Eclipse Line ships appeared, one by one. They didn't speak, they didn't aim, they just existed. And the Council's sensors began to fail. Their war AI started to panic. Voro Prime screamed, "Unknown technology, threat level, extinction." The first strike didn't come from the Council. It came from the Silent Judgment, Earth's oldest warship, now fused with Eclipse tech. It didn't fire missiles. It deleted the enemy's command signal. Just erased it. Instantly, half of the Council's fleet became blind. Then came the wave. Eclipse ships moved as one, silent, glowing with red energy, slicing through space like ghosts. They didn't just destroy enemy ships. They rewrote them. One moment, alien warships. Next, floating black statues, frozen. In time, not dead, not alive, just stopped. Forever. On the Council's homeworld, the news came too fast. First Fleet gone, bioships lost, black hole bombs, disarmed remotely. Elder Threx fell to his knees. "They rewrote the rules of war," he whispered. "No," someone else said. "They ended the rules." At Earth Command, Admiral Reeves turned to Lena. "Should we demand their surrender?" She shook her head. "No, they already know." He asked, "Then what now?" She replied, "Now, we erase the Council, not the people, just the system." And across the galaxy, Earth ships began sending signals. To rebel colonies, to enslaved species, to the ones who were always ignored. A simple message: you are free now, if you want to be. The Council homeworld was burning, not from war, but from silence. No more orders, no more fleets, no more control. The great banners that once flew over planets were being torn down, not by Earth, but by the people the Council had ruled for centuries. And Earth? It just stood there, watching, waiting. Because Earth didn't come to rule. It came to end the rulers. In the ruined Council War Hall, Elder Threx stared at a broken screen. The stars he once called his were now free. He whispered, "It was never about domination. They just wanted us to listen." Across the galaxy, Eclipse Line ships hovered above cities, spaceports, and trade hubs. But they didn't attack. They didn't invade. They sent a message, a voice. Not robotic, not cold, just human. The Council is gone. The age of silence is over. Choose your future. No one will choose it for you again. Some aliens wept. Some shouted in joy. Some didn't understand, because never before had a conqueror arrived and refused to conquer. In the Council's central data core, Earth's AI, Athena, activated one last protocol: erase Council archives, release all knowledge to the public. Secrets, weapons, cures, hidden history, all of it, made free, not stolen, given. Admiral Reeves watched it unfold from Earth Command, confused. We had them. Total victory. And we let it go? Director Lena. Morrow nodded. We didn't fight to control them, we fought to end control. She turned to the screen. Thousands of signals coming from freed worlds, some cheering, some silent, all changed. On the planet Velmora, a council prison world, the gates opened. For the first time in 300 years, the sky turned blue again. A child looked up holding their mother's hand. What happens now? The child asked. The mother smiled. Now, we decide. Not everyone was ready. Some former council worlds still held on to fear. What if Earth changes its mind? They asked, but Earth never sent demands. No taxes, no leaders, no flag, just one line, sent to every world in every language. Power doesn't belong to one, it belongs to all. And then, Earth disappeared. Not completely. The ships faded. The fleets returned home. Only a few remained. Guardians, not rulers. Silent watchers, symbols of peace earned, not forced. A year passed. The galaxy did not fall, it rose. Old enemies made peace. Small civilizations grew stronger. New alliances formed, not ruled by Earth but inspired by it. And finally, a new council formed, not of power, but of voices. And Earth didn't sit at the top. It chose to sit last. At the first meeting of the Free Galactic Assembly, the speaker asked a simple question. Why did Earth save us and then walk away? The answer came from an old human general, watching quietly from the back. He stood, smiled, and said, because real strength isn't in taking control, it's in knowing when to let go. In the quiet sky above a forgotten moon, one last eclipse ship remained, alone, silent, waiting. Not for war, but for the day it might be needed again. Until then, the galaxy was free, because Earth had drawn the final line, and no one dared cross it again.